Hello, ALLJOY community, and today I have Christian Mummert with me here as a guest, and we're going to be talking about his journey into becoming a data analyst. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos out there about how to become a data analyst, and I thought, well, why don't we just take a story of a data analyst and tell that story, everything from background to how he got hired, and then some of the things that he's doing now. Christian, welcome to the ALLJOY YouTube channel.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Now, can you tell all the viewers where you're coming to us from?
Sure. Calling in from Columbus, Ohio.
Awesome, awesome. So Ohio is where I used to live, and now I hail from Hilton Head Island. Hoorah! Love it down here in Hilton Head, but definitely appreciate Christian being in Columbus and can relate very well to working from Ohio. Christian, to get everybody to know you just a little bit better. Can you tell us a little bit about what you like to do for fun before we get into all the technical aspects here?
Oh yeah, sure. So outside of work, if I'm not working, I'm standing in a river somewhere. I love the outdoors, love fly fishing. Yeah, that's how I like to spend my time. Love music too.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, tell us a little bit. So as we get into this, we'll just kind of work our way, down through sort of your career progression, maybe. But tell us a little bit about your educational background.
Sure. Yeah, so I graduated in 2021 from Ohio University with a BBA. So I majored in marketing with a minor in business analytics, and yeah, had a great experience with Ohio University.
Gotcha. Very good. And did you happen to participate in any internships?
Yeah. Actually, that's an interesting part of my background, right? So I'm sure a lot of people that graduated or went to school during 2021, 2022, back to 2020. We all know what was happening then, so it was kind of a weird time, right? So a lot of my internships that I'd applied for, they canceled the programs. So it kind of left me with a little bit of I don't want to say a gap, but a missed opportunity in my education. Made
Sure.
things a little challenging when I got out on the other side.
Gotcha. Okay. So really struggled to get an internship, and then so when you say challenging, talk to me about like this process of so you had a great degree. Now talk about trying to get into a position, a data analyst position.
Oh yeah, so I applied to it had to be hundreds of jobs. I'm not just talking like LinkedIn quick apply. I'm talking, like you have your Excel spreadsheet, you're
Right.
going through keeping track of everywhere you applied to. It was a lot of rejection, pretty tough time, and yeah, it was definitely a challenge. So what I ended up doing was finding a gig to pay the bills in between, and kept looking for an opportunity in IT.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it wasn't like you just ran out, got a degree, and was like, okay, I'm hired, right? Like there did not work
Yeah.
like that, right? So that's part of what I want to try to help people with because I see a lot of folks, a lot of things going on with YouTube where it's like we'll get these skill sets, do this project, and voila, you become a data analyst. And for some folks, that might be their story. For a lot of people that I've talked to and worked with, that's not the story. And that's one of the places I want to talk a little bit right now is how so Christian and I work together, and Christian is one of many data analysts that I've hired, and what is fun about Christian's story is I got to know Christian through him working at a coffee house that my wife was running. So as he was, I think you were going. I don't know if it was high school or college. Was it which one was it? College or
Yeah, that's it was the high school days.
okay? It was the high school days. So this was even before college. So back in the high school days, I got to know Christian, and one of the things that I liked about Christian was his work ethic and his attitude. And let me just say that wherever you're at in your journey to become a data analyst, don't despise your small beginnings, or don't don't understand the importance of the connections or what you're doing right now, because whether it's developing your character, whether it's developing your network, what you're doing right now, you don't know how much it will play into a future job. And for Christian, it very much did, because when I was hiring for this particular role that Christian applied for, I probably had 400 applicants that hit me up through like LinkedIn. And Christian was somebody that I considered above all those other pieces of paper that were coming in through LinkedIn, because I had personally known him. I knew his work ethic, I knew his attitude, and that really helped me in making a decision after I saw his resume. And just one other thing, we did a technical assessment. So not only did I see his resume, but I actually gave him some things to do in SQL and in the IT realm to see if he was going to be comfortable kind of coming over to our side as a data analyst. So it's kind of a fun story. It's been great. It is great working with. We still work together. We're working together now with a fun client that's a very large consumer based products company, and having a good time doing that. So so you got in, and let's talk a little bit about this data analyst role. Tell
Yeah.
me, of course, I have my own opinions, but tell me what you think are some of the most important skills to bring to a data analyst role so that someone might be successful.
Yeah, yeah. So you have your hard skills that are I don't want to say obvious, but it's kind of transcends the industry, right?
Yeah.
So you've got like SQL, Excel, stuff like data visualization, and then like background knowledge in both business processes and supply chain operations management, that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
But then what's really interesting is the soft skills, right?
Yeah.
Can you communicate?
Right.
Can you listen? Right?
Sure.
So like a lot of times, we'll be, having our weekly meetings for, clients, and they're not going to particularly say like, hey, like, here's the problem. We need you to fix it. You just hear their pain points as you go through these meetings and
That's
you observe, and it gives you an opportunity to add value for your client.
That's a great point. Yeah, I think everybody gets you got to know something about Excel and SQL. But I love that you brought up sort of the soft skills around communication and even listening, right? Not just being able to speak articulately, but to be able to listen and understand what's the real issue here. It's not just ones and zeros and rows and columns, but what is the pain point? And the other thing you brought up that I think is super important that I just can't over stress to you is to learn business process, understand the business, because again, when people are talking pain points, somehow you've got to make it from the pain point they're talking about, which is almost always in a business process, back to the rows and columns, back to the ones and zeros in the IT realm. And if you can the more you understand about the business process, the more valuable you're going to be to any business. So that means longer time in consulting gigs, better jobs, promotions, higher paying salaries, and all of that. So learn the business for sure. Uh, and so in that, so you come on the job with this given set of skills. So tell me what job. We're going to talk to a little bit about the jobs that you brought to the job, and then what you've learned since. So tell me a little bit of what you think you brought into your job here as a data analyst.
Sure, sure. So at the end of the day, my degree is basically like a glorified degree in Excel and SQL, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so it's definitely good to have that coming in. Like, and I had a classroom understanding of business operations and business process. It's a lot different than the real world. So yeah, I learned a lot, especially coming on the job.
Yes, absolutely. And then tell me a little bit about what you've learned since you've come to the. So you've been working as a data analyst for several years now. So talk about what you've learned now since you've been working as a data analyst.
Yeah, yeah, sure thing. I'd love to. Yeah. So, My SQL skills have grown exponentially. I mean, I live and breathe SQL at work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm using it for things like reporting and automating processes. Another cool thing that I've picked up is like more like a data engineering skill set, understanding and working with large data pipelines. Like
Okay.
you pick up some skills there. What we discussed about business processes, I've learned to translate business requirements into technical solutions. Um, and then the biggest thing, like the big thing, is SAP knowledge. That's really helpful.
Okay, and so SAP, and so for those of you that might not know what SAP is a very large software system that the big companies use as sort of the backbone for the transactional and master data in their organization. I would say of the Fortune 500, probably 75% of the Fortune 500 run SAP. Now, you can fact check me on that. I just know it's a large number. I don't know if it's 75% or not, but everybody I talk to that's in a big corporation, a Fortune 500 company, has SAP as their backbone. Now, Christian, I do have a question for you. Like, how important do you think it is for someone to sort of feel at home on a computer, or sort of, I hate to say nerdy, but like they just kind of gravitate to this type of work and knowledge? What do you think about that?
I don't think you 100% have to be a nerd,
Right,
but
right, okay,
it helps. It helps.
okay, yeah,
But yeah, there's like a level to it that's very personable, and then there's a level to it that's very private.
yeah.
Like you're communicating with clients for part of your day, but most of your day is sitting there working through ideas, thinking through reports and processes. So there's yeah, there's definitely part of it where you have to be okay with sitting at a desk for long hours.
Sure, sure. And so for those of us, and part of why we're doing this at all, and we're contributing back to the community at ALLJOY, is we really do want to help people get a job as a data analyst. It's a great job. There's a great demand for these jobs. It's not going to go away anytime in the future, and it can be life changing for folks, right? It's great salary, great benefits. So, what would you do from an advice or suggestion standpoint? If you could give somebody some advice or suggestion into becoming a data analyst, what would you say?
Yeah, I've got a couple points.
Okay.
So I think the biggest thing is if you can come to the table with like even just a basic understanding of SQL and Excel, and importantly, demonstrate like a natural curiosity and I mean really an ability to learn independently, you'll do well. You'll do great.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that. Yeah, that natural curiosity, right? Where somebody's not always telling you to go check out this or check out that. Like you're like consuming knowledge, right? You're like, okay, what's going on in the industry? What's going on in the technology? What are the new technologies come on? Well, what about AI? What's AI doing, right? I know you like AI, right? Like it's like we're talking about that constantly. It's like, oh, how is this gonna impact our job? Is it gonna impact how companies hire consultants, right? Like what's happening with AI, right? Like it's like just that natural curiosity of like, okay, let's see what's next. Let's understand something new today.
Yeah, and Bill can speak to this in depth, but one thing that I really enjoy about this job is it's not really set in stone, right? So it's changed a lot, especially over the past 20, 30 years, and it's kind of I don't want to call it the Wild West, but I'll say like there's opportunity to make your own processes and your own ways of working and doing things. So it's really you get a chance to be creative. And I
All
know
right.
you probably sit there and think like, oh, dude, you're looking at ones and zeros all day. What's creative about that? But it's
No,
the problem solving. You
absolutely.
uh you get to figure out some cool stuff.
Yeah, and I would say that would be at least my favorite part of being in data, whether it's a data analyst or even all the way up to like a risk partner or helping a steering committee. It's really problem solving is almost like cliche, but it's helping people, right? It's like folks have real issues with their business that circulate back to it's a data issue, right? And data is so important. And then we actually get to, right? We get to help, right? We get to get in there and we get to make somebody's day better. We get to make somebody's business better. We get to help them out with some real struggles that they're having. And that's probably my favorite part of the job too. And I guess finally, what would be your least favorite part of being a data analyst? Data analyst. What do you think?
Yeah, especially when it's a sunny day. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about the river. I was like, oh man, I want to go fishing right now. But
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm
It is
there
what it
with you.
is.
I'm there with you. I have so right off to the side of me here is a big window, which I've got the shade pulled just right now to keep the lighting a little bit able to help our camera out. But most of the time that's open and the birds are singing and the sun is shining, and I'm like, oh man, I want to be outside. But I do enjoy my job. But I would say that is one thing that if I could find out a way to do more outdoor work with my computer, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's good.
And yeah, that's that comes with its pros and cons. But a couple more points on like some advice I'd give to
Okay.
people trying
Yeah.
to become data analysts. I would say like focus on your ability to interpret technical problems into business solutions. And
Okay.
it's really, really tough because especially when you first come in, you want to show like how much you know. And what ends up happening is you do like technical word vomit, right? And you're like, well, that's not really helping anyone. It's a good to remember like the goal is to provide clarity
Sure.
and not chaos.
I love it. I
So
love that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. Really like that. Really like that. And well, hey, it's been a great time. I really appreciate your time, Christian, and helping to contribute back to the ALLJOY community. For those of you that may have questions, I'm just going to encourage you, go ahead, leave them in the comments. Both Christian and I will be monitoring that. And stay tuned. I think this is going to be one of many data analysts that we're going to be interviewing here on the ALLJOY YouTube channel. And hopefully it will be helpful to you and helpful to others as we try to encourage folks to become problem solvers and help people that are struggling with their data. Y'all take care, God bless, and have a great day.
thank you so much.